Okay, so let's continue our questions by follow, the purchasing power, the interest rate parity, arbitrage questions, right? So in these questions, we have one investor, right? He tried to examine the foreign quote, right, for the Brazilian real and the Australian dollars, right? So you can say the first one is a spot rate, right? And Australian dollars and Brazilian reals, right? For $1 Australian, right, equal to 2.1128 Brazilian reals, right? We also have one Brazilian reals 1 year interest rate 4.1%. That's for the spot rate, right? And also we got Australian dollars 1 year interest rate at 3.1%. On today's market, you also observe forward rate, right? Brazilian reals and Australian dollars, right? The forward rate is 2.1388, right? If the investors short Brazilian reals, right, for 500,000, he will achieve, right, how much risk-free arbitrage profit, right? Be careful, you can see here, right? From the spot rate to forward rate, right? Forward rate is more than spot rate, right? Means our Australian dollars will appreciate, right? So that's why our forward, right? Our forward is trading with our what? With a premium, right? It's trading a premium. So that's why he was short, right? Brazilian reals, right? Brazilian reals, right? Will depreciate. Australian dollars will appreciate, right? So he was short Brazilian reals, right? But what is the profit? Before we doing the, doing the calculations, right? Let's confirm is that any, arbitrage opportunities, right? For these conditions, right? How to check arbitrage opportunities, right? We can use our equations, right? We have in the last video, right? So first, let me write down what this number represent, right? Our spot rate, this spot rate, right? Spot rate equal to 2.1128. Forward rate equal to the 2.1388, right? Interest rate of Brazilian real, right, is what? Is 4.1%, right? And for interest rate in Australia, right, Australian dollars, right, equal to what? 3.1%, right? So let's confirm the arbitrage opportunities, right? Use our covered interest rate, covered interest rate parities. Right? Our forward rate is 2.1388. Our spot rate is what? Our spot rate is 2.1128. Right? Our interest rate of the Brazilian reals, right, is 4.1%. Right? And this one is 3.1%. Right? Now let's do the calculations. If you do the calculations, you can see this equation will be not hold, right? But which one's bigger? Let's solve this one in detail, right? Right, so let's solve this one in detail. 1 plus r, Brazilian real equal to what? 1 plus 4.1%, right? And for Australian dollars equal to what? 1.31%, right? And this one should what? is our foreign country, right? So we first use this spot rate, right, to transfer our Brazilian real, right, to Australian dollars. Then after 1 year, we will swap the Australian dollars to Brazilian real, right, use forward rate, okay? So let's solve this one. The forward rate is what? The forward rate is 2.1388, right? Our spot rate is what? 2.1128, right? So the answer for this ratio times 1 plus 3.1% equal to what? Equal to 1.043, right? 687, right? And you can see this is 1.041, right? The other is 1.043687, right? These two numbers are not what? Are not equal, right? Which one is higher? This one's higher, right? It means in a foreign country you can get more interest than domestic countries in a Brazil, right? In a Brazil, right, you got less interest compared with what you get in Australia, right? Right? So based on this comparison, right, we determine what we will do. We will borrow money, right, cheaper in what? In Brazil, right? We borrow from Brazil, right? Then we will lending the money out, right? In what? In Australia, right? Then we can see how much profit we can get, right? It will be what? It will be we have how much money, right? We short, right? We short the money we borrow from Brazil, right? In the question set, right? We short Brazilian, real for 500, right? Thousand, right? So we get 500,000, right, from Brazil, right? And we lending this one out in Australia, right? For 1.043, right? 687, right? And we need to pay the interest we borrow from what? From the Brazil, right? That's 1.041, right? So the difference will be our profit, right? 500,000 Brazilian real, right? Times 0.0, right? The difference, right? For this difference, right, will be 687 and 0 what? 002, right? So you can take the product for these two numbers, right? So you can solve it, right? The answer will be what? 1,344, right? And this will be in a what? In which currency? It's in a what? Brazilian reals, right? Because you short Brazilian reals, right? So what you get your money back is always to the Brazil, right? So that's your profit, right? So please do these questions by yourself to double check, can you handle this question or not? Next one, right after we study the interest rate parity, we study what? Purchasing power parity or purchase power parity, right? What is the purchase power parity? And let me give you some review, right? This one is actually based on law of what? One price, right? Based on the law of one price, right? Identical goods should trade with the same price across different countries, right? Even valued in terms of what? Different currency, right? When we transfer them into a common currency, right? They should have the same price, right? For example, right? For the same hamburger, right? You purchase from a McDonald's in the US, compared with what you purchase in Japan, right? If you convert both into the US dollars, they should have the same price, right? That's the law of one price, right? And we have the absolute PPP, right? Absolute purchasing power parity, right? This one extending the law of one price to the broad range of the goods and service that will be consumed, right, in different countries. Okay? Let me give you some examples. Right? For example, right? If you have the, if you purchase, right, 1 pound orange, right, from the New York City, right, and the other is from what? Boston. The price most likely are different, right? New York City maybe the $3 per pound, right? But Boston maybe what? $4 per pound, right? The price are not exactly the same, right? However, that's within a country, right? But across the country, how can we, using this purchasing power parity, right? We will use our what? Broad range of what? Goods and service. So we have our what? We have our same basket, right, of goods and service, right? Right? For example, right, we will be, 10 pound of the apple, right, 3 pound of the, you know, orange, right, 1 gallon of the milk, right, the same basket of goods, right? If you use the common currency, right, we should have the same price, right, across different countries, right? That's our assumption for the purchasing power parities, right? For example, there's a famous index called what? Called Big, right? Big Mac index. For Big Mac index, right? So that's a Big Mac burger, Mac burger, right? Beef burgers, right? You can purchase from the, McDonald's, right? The price should be what? For example, right? If you purchase the McBurger, right, from US, right, for $2, right, and then you got the same burger in China, right, for 17, or for example 14, right, RMB, right. This is the currency in the China, right. So based on these two, right, we know if we have the same product, right, same good, right, the price should be the same across different countries if we use a common currency, right? So it means, these $2 actually should equal to what? 14 RMB, right? So for $1, right, if we use the dollar as common currency, right, should equal to what? 7 RMB, right? Both sides divided by 2, right? We got 7, and so that's how we get our exchange rate, right? So $1 equal to what? 7 RMB, right? So what's the real meaning of the, exchange rate? Actually means what? Means the what? Purchasing power, right? You see, for the same unit of the currency, right? US dollar is 7 times of what? 1 unit of what? Chinese currency, right? That's the purchasing power, right? So our exchange rate, in another perspective, is actually reflecting what? Purchasing powers, right, across different countries. So that's why you can see here, right? Based on this absolute version of the PPP, right, purchasing power parity, our equilibrium exchange rate between the two countries is determined entirely by the ratio of their national price level, right? So you can see that's the example we just did, right? So our exchange rate actually is the ratio of what? The national price level. But the problem is, right, it's highly unlikely, right? One will found this relationship will actually hold in the real world. Why? Why? Because what? Because there's no such country will share exactly same basket of goods, right? Because the taste or the culture of the different countries will be, different. Even for the same eurozones, right? For eurozones, right? The two countries can have a different what preference, right? Different culture, right? For example, right? Maybe the Germany, right? Like what? Like the beef, right? And the potato, right? More than what? More than the UK, right? For example, France, right? More than the French people, right? Right? More than the French people, right? The French people may be more like what? More like the cheese, right? And what? Fish, for example, right? So not, there are no such countries will have the exactly same basket of what goods, right? Because their preference, their taste, their culture can be what? Can be different, right? Even in the same area, right? Their taste can be totally different, right? So you cannot use this one, right, to really measure what exchange rate, right, in the real world, right? So in our international finance, right, to be honest, right, there's only one arbitrage, one what, one parities will be always hold is what current interest rate parity. But this one is only held parity right in the real world, right? Be accurate, right? So this is only parity can be held in the real world. The other parities, right, like the purchasing power parity, right, uncovered interest rate parity, they can be not held in the real world. The next one called relative PPP, right? So what is relative PPP? You can see here, right? Relative PPP means the exchange rate. The change of exchange rate depends on what? Depends on the inflation rate, right, in the two countries, right? So you can say our ratio of the exchange rate, right, from a time 0 to time t, right, is based on what? Based on the inflation, right, in the two countries, right? So if the x has a higher inflation than y, right? So X currency will be what? Will depreciate, right? Y currency will be what? Appreciate, right? When the inflation in the X country higher than Y country, right? You can say the change of the exchange rate, right, will be positive. That means this one is positive, right? So our Y will be what? Will be appreciate, right? Because our exchange rate is actually in a x over y, right? So y is appreciate, x will be what? Depreciate, right? I think this one makes sense, right? When your country experience what? High inflation, right? Your money's purchasing power is going down, right? So that's why your currency is depreciate, right? We show some many cases in a class. For example, for Zimbabwe, right? You can see the Zimbabwe experienced the hyperinflation, and so their currency depreciate a lot, right? So this is our relative PPP, right? So it's based on a change of exchange rate, right? And this one will be depends on what? Depends on inflation in the two countries, right? Now we can put them together, right, with our what? With our purchasing power parity, with our interest rate parity, right? Let me summarize all these parities together, right? So we have the covered, right, interest rate parity, right? That's equal to what? F over S equal to 1 plus Rx over 1 plus Ry, right? Exchange rate is in the form x over y, right? And we have the uncovered, right? Uncovered interest rate parity, right? This one we not mention too much, right? So instead of our forward rate, right, you will directly observe, right, our rate, right, in the future by your expectation. So we have the expected spot rate in the future, right, over spot rate, right, equal to what? Equal to the 1 plus Rx over 1 plus Ry, right? Then we study what? We study the purchasing, right? Power parity, right? So we also have what? We have the absolute PVP, right? Right? We have the what? Relative what? PVP, right? What is absolute PVP? Right? This one just what? Just the law of one price, right? So our price level will directly reflect our exchange rate, right? So F over X, right, will be what? F over S will be directly based on our what? Price level, right? Price level, right? So that's our law of one price. It's our absolute PVP, right? For relative PVP, right, it's based on our inflation rate, right? So S, expected S in the future over S equal to what? Equal to 1 plus the pi x over 1 plus pi y, right? So based on this one, we know the change of our exchange rate, right? Equal to the pi x minus pi y, right? And this one, the change of the exchange rate equal to what? Equal to the Rx minus Ry, right? One is what? One is the differentiate of exchange rate, right? This one is differentiate of what? Inflation rate, right? So you can say our change of exchange rate can be determined by what? By the two factors, right? Two factors. One is the difference in the interest rate between the two countries. One is the inflation cost, right, in the two countries. Okay, so that's the parities, right? We not go to a detail in class, right? Now I just want to give you some extension, right? You are not required to memorize this parity, right? But you need to know why this one is useful and how can we use this parity, right? To do some, you know, we can do some judge of what's the change of exchange rate, right, in the future, right? By using these two, difference, right? One's interest rate difference, right? One's inflation rate difference, right? So that's our extension, right? For the topics we covered in the midterm exams, right? In midterm exams, we also study what? Study the others about, for example, triangular arbitrage, right? And also we study different exchange rate market, right? In different countries, right? So if you have any questions, right, please put on the comments, right, below this video for this part. Right, this part is not very easy, right? Just something we do the extension. So based on you have the practice for the questions that we did, and also please use what you studied in the previous lectures, right, to do the calculations. Right? Thank you.